Hi, it's Jan Beta. Joysticks, we all love them. Some of us blame them for our inability to play games and destroy them while rage quitting said games. So today I'm going to be looking at two specimens that are severely destroyed, and they are two Competition Pro joysticks. Competition Pros are some of my favorite joysticks ever, and they were my favorites back in the day. Before I knew the Tech 2 joystick, which is my current favorite one, but I still have many of my original Competition Pros that I used back in the day, and I love them and use them very frequently. I recently got donated two Competition Pro joysticks that were on the brink of being sent to the trash compactor and to joystick heaven thereafter, if you believe such things. Katrina donated the joysticks and also a whole lot of other things that are going to be featured in future videos. So thank you very much. And you're going to see the other things in other videos. The joysticks are going to be prominently featured in this video. So let's take a look at this very poorly joystick. It's missing the connector on the end. It doesn't look great. Most of the standoffs are fallen off and broken. Pieces of the case are broken off, but I think we got all the pieces of the case. I guess we can glue this back together. I'm just going to go on and remove all the bits from the actual plastic shell and try to repair the shell. And I have some parts from other, even more broken Competition Pros that I can use to fix this, maybe. Yeah, this definitely has been well loved, as the eBay sellers put it. There's this little lock ring that was here is missing and has been replaced by a wire, which works, I guess. Yeah, I guess we can remove the whole this stuff here without taking the stick out. Yeah. I'm just going to finagle my way. Have to remove all the screws who are still in here and broke off the posts. There we go. Maybe I don't even have to take this off. Yeah, this is actually quite a nice sturdy construction, at least if you take the brittle plastics out of the equation. I really like these joysticks because they're pretty sturdy, really. So these particular ones have the extra triangular buttons that they removed, for example, in the zip stick, which is like the final incarnation of this. They have like the auto fire functionality, which is pretty handy if you need, in some games you need to hold down a fire button, and you also need auto fire at times, so that's really cool to have auto fire with just pressing a button and you still can hold a button. Yeah, that's really handy, especially for Turrican and the like. This is my go-to joystick when it comes to playing Turrican. Not this particular one, obviously. Yeah, there's one of the stands is broken off here. Yeah, some of them are broken off a bit. I'm going to have to remove the screws from the rest of the posts here. Yeah, I'm just going one by one, I guess, and I'm just going to repair the top part here. So this should go on top of here. I'm actually going to use my vise for this, to hold this. We should be able to use some model making glue, like plastic glue. So this is the stuff I'm going to be using. This is plastic glue, so it dissolves plastic and basically forms a weld bond between the parts you're gluing. I think it's based on acetone, I'm not sure. This is for like building model X-wings and things like that, so it ought to be perfect for most plastics. Yeah, and I'm just going to put some on there and go slowly and yeah, let it dissolve the plastic a bit. Should probably wear gloves for this. Hope this works on this kind of plastic. Yeah, it already sticks, that's good. Yeah, and I obviously don't have an idea if this is going to hold. This is the first time I'm trying to glue back a joystick. That's probably one of the most common points of failure for these, is that the plastic gets brittle and just cracks. And especially these screw posts crack over time. Maybe this is a solution to semi-permanently at least fix these. So the other part, this part, should still be in one of my screw posts with a screw. Oh, that's missing, I guess. That one might be lost. Or no, there's another one, okay. No, that one's lost. This one here just broke off completely, so I have the piece here. And I'm just going to add some glue. This should go on here, like so. Yeah, but the glue seems to work. This one already is quite solid. So, and while I let the other ones cure a bit, I'm just going to take a look at this part. Clean it up with some alcohol. And I am going to wash these after gluing them, because I don't want any water to get in there, because that would probably prevent the glue from working. Yeah, this is where this part goes. And this should be this part, okay. Yeah, basically doing the same again with the model making glue. Plastic model building glue. I don't even know what the correct term for this is. It says plastic glue. Model building glue in German. Modellbaukleber. So now this is basically a waiting game for a while. This should be solid enough after half an hour or so, so I'm just going to give it half an hour now. I have no idea if this is going to work. Your guess is as good as mine in this case, so yeah, we're going to find out. So here's another little bit that goes here, because it holds the little PCB that has the autofire on it. Just going to glue that in place. That is kind of a flimsy construction. So while our glue cures, let's take a look at this. There are some loose ends. I think whoever worked on this tried to put this little circuit board out of function. There is the ground has been cut, I think. I think the black wire is the ground. And also this orange wire that's supposed to go here. That has been cut deliberately. Probably because the person who used this triggered the autofire, or there's like a slow motion function that doesn't really work at all. It's pretty useless. Maybe the person just didn't want to trigger this accidentally and cut the wires. Other than that, this looks pretty good. But it's missing the DB9 plug on the end, so we won't be able to connect it like this. We're going to have to connect a new DB9. So I'm just going to strip all these wires to be able to test this. So I'm just going to test the switches by putting my multimeter in continuity testing mode. And the wires are color coded, so it's not much that can go wrong. This should be... the black wire should be ground, I think. The orange wire should be the fire buttons. That doesn't work. That's weird. I think I want to put the wires back together that are broken and see if that fixes things. Somebody had a weird go at this. I don't know what that's all about. Putting a bit of heat shrink tubing over the wire here. There's not that much room, but I think we're going to be fine with just soldering this together. Oh, we have to connect the orange wire, I think, because that got cut too. So connecting the orange wire in the same way. And the same with the black wire. I'm also going to replace a piece of that. So maybe, just maybe, I have everything back in order. Let's see. So I had a broken, another black wire that was cut off on this end here, and I just soldered it to the other fire button. And they do trigger, but they have this black wire is connected to this circuit board, and they actually trigger with 150 ohms or thereabouts. Not sure if that's supposed to happen. But otherwise the directions do work now. Some of the switches are a bit flaky. Usually some contact cleaner into the switches fixes them, so I'm just going to spray some in there. I've fixed many a joystick like this. I think we have to hook this up to a computer to see if that actually, if the fire buttons actually work. Because really they should just be switches without any added resistance, I guess. But maybe that has something to do with the circuit there. And maybe that resistance vanishes as soon as the circuit gets powered. This might just work. I think I'm going to put a DB9 on there and try it out on an actual computer. Okay, so I've worked out the pin out and I got myself a female DB9 connector. This should be pretty straightforward. I'm just going to solder the wires according to the pin out I noted down. Yay! I made a new joystick connector. Okay, as a test device I have now hooked up my nice Thundercats C64. And as you can see, it does work. Okay, fireworks. Auto fireworks. Try that again. Here's auto fire. It does work. Nice. Does auto fire work with the button? Yep. Perfect. Okay, the joystick electronics seem to work fine. That's good. But obviously we won't be able to use the joystick in this state. But at least the wiring seems to be correct now. That's kind of a relief. So yeah, guess we need to repair the case further now. So here's another issue I found with the case parts. The fire buttons actually sit in these square containers, I don't know, that are supposed to clip into these here. And there are some parts that they are supposed to clip into, which are broken off, so they don't clip on here, so we don't get a fit on the fire buttons. that's going to be a problem because, yeah, we need these to sit there pretty tightly. It is a problem on these joysticks that these get dislocated and you have to open them up and relocate them. I usually fix that with a bit of hot glue, strategically placed so they can't slide out. However, I think I have an idea of how to work around that. That's going to look a bit funny, but it's probably going to work. So I have this completely trashed Competition Pro. And that has, I think it's the same container things for the fire buttons. It is a yellow one which has the red buttons. I think we are just going to take the whole button assembly out and put some red buttons into our green translucent one here. We're just going to take these out and put them in there, I guess. It's going to look a bit funny, but it's going to work better than before. Come on, you can do it. Something a bit more resilient. Oh, there we go. Okay, that was easier. Just need a bit of force to get it out. Yeah, these actually look more intact than the silver ones, so we're going to put those in our green one. This one actually seems, no, it's broken off. They both have broken off pieces, but they appear to be the same. And the buttons come out too. They are the same shape. So I'm going to have, yeah, maybe we could put silver buttons in here, but I think I like it better if it's all red. Okay, this goes in like so. This one. Yay! Doesn't look too bad actually. Actually pretty funky. So time for some case cleaning, and I'm just going to use some window cleaner and finish off with some alcohol. And this is a microfiber cloth, and it's usually quite a good idea for these plastic parts. And the pieces we glued together seem to be really sturdy actually. So around the edges here is where some of the nastier stuff sits, because that's where all the, yeah, there we go. That's where all the grime from your hands ends up. Around the perimeter of the case here, where the two pieces come together. And in this case, it's somebody else's skin flakes. So I am going to clean that quite thoroughly. Oh, and one of the rubber feet. Two of the rubber feet. The rubber feet coming off. Do we get them all off? So these rubber feet, we're going to put new ones on there. Look at that. It's just, they're like gummy bears, basically. Consistency of gummy bears. We're going to clean up the glue residue with some alcohol as well. Wow, I thought this would be a quick little repair. But this thing has a lot of issues. And these are all like common issues with these joysticks. So I think it might be time to put this back together. I cleaned these too, off camera. Okay, like so. Yes, that still fits. Let's just put this in here. Hopefully it fits. Yeah, that's actually quite a nice fit. And this here should go in here. That's a nice fit too. Oh, the button got this switch has a split in it too. Okay. Yeah, we're going to fix that too. So I got all my wires routed pretty nicely, I think, so that nothing gets destroyed when I close this up. And we should still be able to use this. However, this little, it's just plugs onto the little auto fire switch. This has a split. I don't know if it's visible on camera. This has a split in the middle, so I'm just going to put some plastic glue on there as well. So another half hour of waiting. I have this clamped with this little spring-loaded clamp, and it should be perfect after that. In the meantime, I could already test the joystick for a bit, I guess. This doesn't play too well like this. But hey, the joystick works. Oh, but I got left and right confused. Okay, I have to connect that the other way around. But otherwise it seems to work, and even the autofire works. And the slow motion function doesn't work anyway. I don't know any game where that makes any sense, so that's just wasted space basically. Okay, that worked very well. Let's put it all back together. I think the screws should all grab now. Hopefully. Yeah, that one does. That was the one with the standoff that's a bit short. The other ones are with the glued standoffs. I don't want to tighten these too much. But this plastic should technically be welded together, so it should be just as sturdy as the whole rest of the case. This actually looks pretty cool. Yeah, it looks kind of cool. Kind of unique. For the feet, I'm just using these generic 3M Dusty, actually, rubber feet for electronics. 12.7 millimeter. They are a bit higher than the original ones. These are the same feet that most computer cases and such have. The Amigas, the Commodore 64s. They basically all have the same feet. And these fit the competition pros just fine. I like them better than the original ones actually, because they are a bit more grippy. Better than new. Yeah. That's cool. Okay. The final product. Let's see. Up and down. Right, left. Yeah, now it's wired up correctly. And it's clicky, which is nice. Yeah, fire button works. Autofire with the switch. Yeah, that's very promising. Yeah, it literally is as good as new. Maybe even better, because the fire buttons don't move around that much. Nice, I like it. I like it a lot, actually. Yeah, this is very nice. I like it a lot. Let's get on to the next one that I might be able to fix. So, this next one is an earlier model. Actually one I really like, because it has leaf switches for the fire buttons, and it has micro switches for the directions. And it has, it doesn't have a spring in here, it has a rubber gasket that makes the stick return to the 0, to the middle position. It's a bit of a different beast, but I found that the plastics in these are the most sturdy. The clear joysticks turn to crumble with age. And these solid black ones, most of the ones I've seen are still intact from the case point of view. This, I think it's just missing a microswitch. Let's open this up. Oh, and it's missing all the rubber feet. But we know a workaround for that. And these actually use much bigger screws as well. So the whole case design changed slightly, not only to incorporate the additional features, but also I think they refined it and at the same time probably cost reduced the production. So they made it easier to manufacture. Oh yeah, and it's actually just missing one of the buttons here. Yeah, and also it's missing some wires. Yeah, so here we are. It's a slightly different construction. There's less clutter, of course, because it doesn't have auto fire or anything like that. These leaf switches are for the fire buttons, and it's also, yeah, it's a bit of there's a pin protruding there. It's a bit of a different construction. This is pretty much the same, stayed very similar. And yeah, these actually have more sturdy, there's a pin on each one to solidify the whole construction, I guess. The plastic feels more rigid, so they probably use better plastic. I wonder if I can just replace this whole assembly with the one from the yellow stick. The thing is, if you replace one of the micro switches, it's not going to feel the same for all directions because they are all slightly different and they have slightly different clickiness to them. Ideally, we would have to replace all of them. Yeah, and these are the same brand switches even. These have one connector more even. These are screwed in with 2 screws on this one. That's a nice feature. Whereas these are just held in by one little pin here on one end and only screwed in with 1 screw, so it's easier to dislocate them. I don't think the other one had that. That only has 1 screw as well, yeah. So they changed that. Okay, that's interesting. That was the yellow one, was the model without autofire and things like that. So that's a more sturdy construction on the switch part. Let's take this one out of this joystick and put this one in. And we would just have to hook up the triggers, the buttons. So this should now come out completely. Oh yeah, and there you can see the rubber gasket. These lose their springiness over time, and you can actually put some electrical tape around there. I did that on one of my other competition pros. I did that, so you can get this out, but just disassembling the lock ring here and just getting the whole stick out, and then you can get this rubber thing out, and you can just put some windings of electrical tape around there. That makes the springiness better again. But this one is pretty good still, so not too worried about that. So let's see if we can fit the electronics from the other one in here. No! Oh, it doesn't fit. Unfortunately, they changed the design of this part quite a bit to incorporate the spring that they added for the later models. And this is the one from this one, so yeah, that's not going to work. Yay, it fits. Of course. Yeah, it's now just a matter of connecting the wires again. And then this should be a working joystick, hopefully. So this wire here is what connects the grounds of the fire buttons. And yeah, we need to connect our switch to this. So we have all our grounds connected, because there's 2 wires coming from here and 1 wire goes to this. So the switches are all connected to ground and the buttons are going to be connected with this. So we need a bit of a black wire, more black wire. So I just accidentally ripped this out. It's actually pretty interesting because these are the same part, and between those is a little red block that fits in these holes here, so it doesn't dislocate, and then it's just stuck between in here, in this little square. Oh wow. Okay. Think I got it back in there. Yeah, feels right. Some routing. Yeah, the clickiness is pretty much the same for all directions, which is nice. Okay. Just going to spray some contact cleaner in there while we are at it. Okay, time for another quick test run. Up, down, right, left, fire, other fire. It works! I think I want to clean this up. Put some new feet on it, because it's missing all the feet. But otherwise, this works absolutely no problem. Okay, nice. Another one fixed. Yay! Yeah, 2 competition pros saved from being discarded. I hope you enjoyed this, hope this was informative, and I hope to see you again on this channel sometime. And yeah, special thanks to everybody who supports me on my Patreon and on my channel memberships page. I'm Jan Beta, thanks for watching, see you next time, bye! Wow.